You thought I was done, didn't you? The truth is, I considered quitting for good. What I explained in that little paragraph I made, if you saw it, or if you haven't, it was really true. It was just the frustration of competition. I feel like I'm against other accounts each and every video I create. The competition just kind of was getting to me, but then when I saw the comments of please keep going, please don't give up, it just made me realize that it's not about how many people view it, it's who does. And even if there's only like a handful of people, like only 15 that watch every video, it's just more important. It made me realize that the 15 people that watch every time is more important than 2,000 people would watch one thing. So it's loyalty that counts with these things, and it just took me a week to realize it. And there was a weekend where I was able to learn that, and I'm moving on just like normal. I'm probably better than ever right now. Today we're going to talk about some NFL rookies, also known as the Year 2016 NFL Rookie Watch. Now I've listed 8 rookies that we can be on the watch for this upcoming season. I thought about doing 10, but I think 8 is just the right amount right now. Let's start with the number 1 rookie on my watch list. This is my prediction for Rookie of the Year, actually. Laquan Treadwell, wide receiver, Minnesota. Last year, the Vikings were last in the NFL in receptions amongst wide receivers with 148 total amongst all of them. This pick on Laquan Treadwell gives Teddy Bridgewater a big target to throw to. Treadwell may not necessarily have the speed as some of the other receivers in this draft class, but he certainly has the frame to turn into an elite wide receiver. Now, I believe it was in my NFL mock draft 3.0 or 4.0 that Laquan Treadwell has the size of Calvin Johnson, and he could. I'm kind of getting vibes out of that. I honestly think he could turn into a Calvin Johnson 2.0. But first, we got to see what he's really going to bring to the table this upcoming season. I'm certainly going to consider putting Laquan Treadwell on my fantasy team. And if you want to as well, I could imagine that I'd say you want to get him early, but maybe not too early. Like, I'm thinking maybe, depending on like what your draft is, like how many people are in it, I would say maybe about round 6 to about 8 or 9. I think any later than the 10th round you can get Laquan Treadwell and you draft him, that's a steal. So the number 2 rookie watch on this rookie watch is Will Fuller, wide receiver of Houston. Yes, we're kind of going wide receiver happy, but let's just go with it. Will Fuller had the fastest 40-yard dash time at this year's NFL Combine amongst the wide receivers with a time of 4.32 seconds. Fuller adds the already ample amount of offensive targets for Brock Osweiler this upcoming season. Among the other weapons on the offensive side are Lamar Miller, DeAndre Hopkins, Cecil Shorts, Jalen Strong, and also drafted this year by the Texans, Braxton Miller, who Braxton also played quarterback. So watch out for some trick plays if your team's gonna play against the Texans. So after giving that information, Will Fuller has speed. He kind of needs to have strength a little bit, but he did really good at Notre Dame. I would envision that Will Fuller won't get all the targets that he could deserve and hope for, but I think he's going to get a decent amount. And if he takes advantage of targets after his rookie contract is up and he becomes a free agent within the next handful of seasons, maybe a team's going to offer him a lot of money to play for their team. So Will Fuller is somebody to really watch out for. If you want to put him on your fantasy team, look to draft him maybe around 8 through 11. Maybe if you get lucky enough, you can get him in free agency on the waiver wire. Because Will Fuller is going to get some receptions this year. Just a matter of how many and how quickly he's going to turn into a starter. But he will start this season, because why would the Texans draft a wide receiver this early? Number 3 on the rookie watch is Ezekiel Elliott, running back out of Dallas. The Cowboys elected to draft Ezekiel Elliott with the 4th overall draft pick, even though they have not elected to trade Darren McFadden and also signed Alfred Morris this offseason. Don't forget Robert Turbin either, who was a decent backup running back with Seattle that was a back behind Marshawn Lynch and Thomas Rawls. It may not be an instant starter, but I have this feeling that he will be a starter by the end of the season. Because Darren McFadden, yes, he's really good, and basically any running back that has the Dallas Cowboys offensive line is deemed for success. So right now, Ezekiel Elliott could probably be at the 3rd string running back right now. But he could be the backup by the end of the season. If he gets the decent amount of carries, he'll be a starter soon. It may not be right away. Maybe not toward the end of the season now that I mention this again. But he will be a starter eventually in Dallas. Number 4 on the rookie watch is Corey Coleman, wide receiver out of Cleveland. The Browns did a real-life draft day trade to get Corey Coleman. They originally had the 2nd overall pick, and everyone expected them to take Carson Wentz. But 2 weeks for the draft, they traded picks with the Eagles, with now the 8th pick. Then they traded the Titans. Finally, the Cleveland Browns drafted Corey Coleman with the 15th overall pick. This was a pick that desperately needed to be made to give RG3 a receiver to throw to. Look for Coleman to be in contention for Rookie of the Year, because Corey Coleman's probably the only other target other than Gary Barnidge that will probably get a decent amount of targets. The Browns lost Travis Benjamin for agency, and they're unsure if Josh Gordon is going to play much. I believe they're still waiting for Josh Gordon to get reinstated by the NFL. But we'll find out soon. And also, Roddy White's maybe not out of the question right now, but we'll talk about Roddy White in a moment. Because number 5 on the rookie watch list is Paxton Lynch, quarterback for the Denver Broncos. After the retirement of Peyton Manning and Brock Osweiler signing with the Texans, the Denver Broncos desperately needed a quarterback more than anything else. So they traded up to the 26th pick to select 6'7" quarterback out of Memphis University, Paxton Lynch. It is unclear if he will be the starter to begin the season quite yet, but look for him to use Demaryius Thompson and Emmanuel Sanders to his advantage. And Roddy White is not out of the question at this moment in time. So Roddy White was released by the Falcons earlier this season. It was reported that Falcons offensive coordinator Kyle Shanahan had no hard feelings for Roddy White. Now Roddy White he's a great receiver, but he's just getting up there in age, and he's probably only has about maybe 2 years left max. He'd be a 3rd one if he's lucky. Teams that could sign Roddy White would be Cleveland and Denver, because they kind of need some receivers right now. And I will throw in San Diego as well. San Diego could need a receiver soon, maybe even Philadelphia as well. Those 4 teams could really use Roddy White. Anyway, staying in Denver, number 6 on the rookie watch, Devontae Booker, running back with the Denver Broncos. Yes, the Broncos have C.J. Anderson and Ronnie Hillman, but Booker will definitely get his share of carries in the 2016 season, and he could be the running back of the future in Denver, depending on how much he can produce with this set amount of carries this season. I can see him being the starter at the running back position eventually, but will it be by the end of the season? Maybe not, but he could, depending on if Anderson and Hillman struggle throughout the season. Now he's on this watch list because he was the 2nd best running back in this draft class, and he just fortuitously I'm not going to try to pronounce that word again, but it was very fortunate that he fell to the Broncos in the 4th round. Because Devontae Booker, probably in any other draft, he's probably one of the first couple picks in the 2nd round. And then moving on to number 7 on the watch list, Austin Hooper, the tight end of Atlanta. The Falcons have yet to find a replacement for Tony Gonzalez, and it honestly feels like it's taking forever to find that long-term tight end. Hooper has great size and a great vertical jump for a tight end, and the ability to catch the ball in traffic. And Sanford has produced some great tight ends over the last few seasons. For example, Zach Ertz, Coby Fleener, Levine Toilolo. If you haven't seen highlights of him yet, you better do that now. As a Falcons fan, I was confused on why they would draft the tight end, because they seem to have struggled with Toilolo and Tangy. They could have at least tried to sign somebody. Like they clearly could have tried maybe doing one in free agency, or maybe just waiting till next season. But as soon as I saw Austin Hooper's tapes, I was like really impressed with what he was able to do, like catching the ball in traffic with those 2-on-1s, and he was the one. I feel like if he can use his size to his advantage, he can be the starter and he can be that long-term tight end that the Falcons are hoping for. Could he be the next Rob Gronkowski? Maybe we'll find out in about 8 to 10 seasons. Well, maybe even 5 or 6. But we will soon find out, faster than we know it. And the last rookie on the watch list is Jared Goff, the quarterback for the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams should have sacrificed so much to draft Jared Goff. Some of Goff's strengths is that he has a great ability to find the open receivers, as well as finding time in the pocket and avoiding sacks. His accuracy is pretty solid. He reminds me a little bit of Nick Foles when he was first with Philadelphia, by finding the open receivers and not making too many mistakes. He has some receivers to throw to, however, just like him, they're also rookies and young as well. Tavon Austin is not a rookie, but he's also a young wide receiver, but he's got great speed. Sevin Bailey, young as well. They drafted Pharaoh Cooper out of South Carolina, young as well. Tyler Higbee, tight end. He was a replacement for Jared Cook, also a rookie. So rookies and very young receivers. This season is going to be an opportunity for us to see if the Rams' sacrifices to draft Goff was worth it, or if it was a total bust. So those are 8 rookies for this year's NFL Rookie Watch. Sure, they may not all live up to the hype, but certainly gives us something to look forward to in the fantasy season and in the overall NFL season. So comment your thoughts below. Comment, was there a rookie that was not on the list that should have been on the list? Also comment that below. Like and subscribe to the channel. As I said, I'm back and better than ever. Also, you can like my Facebook page, though I might have to make a new one pretty soon. So I want to try to make some changes to it. Also, email for future video suggestions, birthdatejohnny@gmail.com. Also, follow me on my sports account, JB Talks, at JB Talks Sports. And that'll be it. Have a wonderful day, everyone.